Welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 414. Today is July 22nd, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle.
Oh, and I'm Kelly. I don't have the show notes up. So.
Oh, and I'm Adriel.
Oh, and I'm Mo.
Oh,
There we go. Matching and everything.
It's nice to see everybody. Hey, guys.
Hello, Kelly.
Mo, did you miss me?
Very much.
See, he said that he was going to miss me while I was a few minutes late. So, hi. I'm fashionably late. Anyways,
That's all right.
That was a good interview.
It was.
Yeah. And
I like all their stuff prepped in the back there. They can just just like this. Here, this stock over here. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Over here. Yeah.
They are super cool. Not only that, they know their stuff. And not only that, they're Canadian. And not only that, they're from Alberta. And not only that, they're open to doing other things. That's not only that. But it's interesting. One of the most interesting things that I heard from that interview was, oh, by the way, you'll hear about this in the interview that's coming up. But one of the most interesting things that those guys had to do or had to say was that everybody wants the old school. They don't want something nice and fancy.
Yeah. They don't want the fancy. Well, I mean, how can you call walnut not fancy? But they don't want the ultra fancy. They just
like the zebra wood. I would be all over that.
That was very cool.
But you want for a Lee Enfield, you want it to look like the original one. Like, would you buy an M1 Garand with like a candy pink glossy stock on it?
Not pink, however.
No, but I'd buy one with zebra wood.
Yeah.
Zebra wood? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think I'd rather just have an original looking one.
Like some of those exotic woods, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
I'd get an exotic wood on my hunting rifle.
You're one of those.
No.
But you're
I'm wrong.
You're also a guy that has nice shiny red. You have grips
on my Shadow 2.
Yeah, on the Shadow 2.
Yeah.
So you're an oxymoron walking.
My Shadow 2 is not 100 years old though.
No, it's true. No. But I think that if you could have a beautiful, well done, nice wood, but it's fancy.
See, nice wood grips from these guys for your CZ.
Ooh. Now they were saying 1911, which is CZ.
I have two 1911s.
Cool. Yeah. 1911.
Okay.
Same block of wood.
Okay. Well, let's get into what we did with guns. What we did with guns is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearm retailer. And I was looking on the website. I was hoping this was going to be featured. They have a bunch of, or is he the ones? The SIG P210 target.
This is a fancy 9mm. Here, boom. This guy. That's their fancy.
I was looking at the different ones.
The different one. Which one were you looking at?
I still have that page. Oh no. Yeah, they have a whole bunch of P210s. Like they have one here. It's $7,500.
Oh yeah,
the Basel police surplus handgun. Like
Okay, so
Simpac.
That's pure. That's actually
that's
pretty,
another.
though. That's pretty.
So basically, they have a bunch of these P210s, just -3, -1. And there's a whole bunch of them on there.
Right.
The sight adjustment tool is $579. Just use a hammer and a drift.
On a $7,500 gun, though.
Put some tape over the drift. Come on, a little bit of masking tape,
plastic, brass, whatever.
Yeah,
a little masking tape.
Pricey,
but
pricey, but
fancy.
Cool.
Good. All right,
let's start out. Kelly, what did you do this week?
I did a couple of things this week. What did I do? Oh yeah, remember
maple seeds?
Yeah, my brain. We went to Stittsville. Stittsville is just outside of Ottawa, and we had 2 maple seed events. Just have to say, great weekend. It was really hot, and when I mean hot, I mean it was hot and sunny on the Sunday, but it was hot and super muggy, gross on Saturday. But we had lots and lots and lots and lots and I mean lots of riflemen. And then we also had some great metrics as well. Adriel.
You have the best numbers. We've got numbers, the best numbers.
Yeah. So we had, when we're talking about metrics, what we do is we take their baseline target at the beginning of the day, get them to shoot it. And then we do another target that's exactly the same. We get to shoot it and then we compare the two. And yeah, my group's Ontario are better shooters than Alberta. Or what does that mean?
We're comparing. So the start of the day to the end of the day, how much do they improve? And right now the competition is between Kelly and I to see who improves the most people the most. Is that the competition?
Yeah, that'd be correct.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is Ontario are better shooters, or are Ontario, do they suck when they come and then they are better at the end?
Well, see, that's where my question is, because if you know nothing, and then you're from knowing nothing to going through a weekend is going to be your.
I'm gonna tell them to shoot the morning standing.
I'd like to compare.
Hold on a second. I on Saturday they shot it. I went, oh my gosh. I said, well, we have room to grow here. And then at the end of the day, I said, I got them to shoot it again. I said, by the way, this is for a competition between Adriel and I. There were some listeners there too. And they were going, oh crap, what are you getting? I said, a sandwich. And they were going, no, seriously, what are you getting? I said, a sandwich. And they're going, how are you going to get it? I said, he's going to mail it to me.
No. You're going to be down here in August, right? I say our cutoff date is August. That's our interim. Who's winning so far? We do the sandwich then.
Okay. Sure.
I'd like to see these starting sheets when they first walk in there, because it's like boiling water. You don't start off with warm water to boil water. You start off with cold water to get it hot.
Yeah, we get that. So it's the comparison between their morning target and their last target that they shoot.
Right.
I'm gonna ask my shooters to shoot theirs standing in the morning, though.
I was thinking about that on Sunday. Okay, everybody choose a position. My recommended position would be standing.
Just so that I get the most optimization through the day.
And no, I didn't do that. I said, no, this has to be fair. And these guys, they were good shooters. Saturday and Sunday, we had 2 full lines of really, really good shooters. So it was interesting to see. We had, I think we had 8 in total, maybe 9 riflemen as well. And yeah, it was really, really good time. The IITs, which are the instructors in training, they were all on point. They were awesome. And again, it was really, really hot. So we took lots of breaks. But we also shot a lot as well. And then on Saturday, we were so in tune with everything. Everything was flowing that typically we'll shoot until 5 o'clock. We'll clean up. We'll get out of there at 6:30 or so. By the time we get to the restaurant to have a debrief and something to eat, we were done and out of there by 4:30. It was awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's easier to do with a smaller group too.
Yeah. So one of the things, I had opened up the lines for both days. So we added people to it. We went from 10 plus the instructors to 15 plus the instructors. And
where'd you get the extra people? Were they just hanging around on the other range? Did you just go to the other bays and be like, yo, you want to shoot Maple Seed? Do you rummage up people who are hanging around outside?
When Ontario
drive through downtown, anyone's waiting beside the street, you're like, yo, you learn how to shoot?
Mm-hmm. When Ontario went to stage 2, I added it to our Eventbrite pages, and then I published it. I said, we got more people on the line, so more spots. So we sold out in literally minutes. But the sad thing about that is we had a full line the morning of, and then people just didn't show up. 4 people on both days. I'm going, really? Because we would have had, anyways. It's okay. And Stittsville are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Stittsville Range is amazing. They set up target backers for us. The range is the range that is used by JTF as well as the law enforcement. So it's quite secluded and it's a nice big range. The only thing is that on one side of the range, you could literally go up to your knees in muck. So we only shot on half the range. So good. It was a really fun weekend as well. It's probably, no, I'm not going to say it's one of the best because I keep saying that every time we have a shoot. It has to
best shoot yet.
Yeah,
best shoot ever. It's got like Apple, the best iPhone ever.
So it was a lot of fun. And the feedback that we've been getting from the people that attended as well said that they had so much fun there as well. One of the things that I've been doing all this week is getting ready for, Adriel kind of mentioned, he says I'm going to be in Alberta, but I'm going to be in Alberta next month at the end of the month, but in Ontario, as of it's next week, we're going to be starting the calendar shoot. So lots of effort and planning has been going into that with the ladies from the CCFR. So I've been meeting with them, also contacting the people that are cooperating or helping us with props and different areas to shoot and locations as well as guns and things. So been a lot of effort with that. And then also with Maple Seed, I've talked to Adriel a couple of times. By the way, Adriel, thank you very much for doing my new bio. I appreciate it.
I just gave you a start.
No, that's complete. I sent it back to you. Adriel sent me a message saying, I'm getting tired of waiting for you to do your updated bio. I've done it for you. I said, perfect, thanks.
You wrote your bio? Nice.
I said, I was so far behind on stuff. That wasn't even on the priority list. So thank you. Yeah. So that's it. That's all that I did. Mo. Oh, and one other thing, I finally got an IPSC Ontario, like as of yesterday. So it was awesome.
So you can log it. You can log in and everything now.
Yeah, I need. There was some issues with me receiving my password and login. So finally got it. Excellent.
Awesome.
Yay, Mo.
I shot 2 IPSC matches on the weekend. It was my first time doing back-to-back. On Saturday was in Smiths Falls, Ontario. And it was my first time at that range and at that town. It was a nice little town. It was actually bigger than I thought because they had a Walmart. So that's how I judge small towns. If they have a Walmart, they're not that small. It was 6 stages. It was fun, challenging, good group of people. And I stuck around after for the teardown. And then on Sunday was in Cornwall, Ontario. And that was also 6 stages. And then I learned between the 2 days that that I have to start putting more focus on the bigger stages, like the 32 rounders and stuff, because I find that I'm not setting up a good plan for them. And then it becomes this just focus on trying to hit everything and make sure that I don't get any like procedural penalties and stuff or for not engaging. So that's something I'm going to be working on going forward. I shot my friend Louis was there with his wife again, and we hung out, and it's always nice seeing them. They were there actually at both matches. In total, I ended up driving close to 9 hours between the 2 days, like back and forth. So it was a bit of a grind that way, but I did enjoy that. Sorry?
Not bad. I think you,
Not
Kelly,
bad.
and I all drove about that this weekend.
Yeah. Like that warmed me up. Then plus, obviously, the humidity of being out there and stuff, and it's like,
over 2 days. That's not bad.
That's not. Yeah, I guess it's not bad. And then I ordered some swivel studs for my 1022 because I realized that it's a pretty basic one that doesn't have sling mounts. And I was talking to Adriel about it. He told me that they're cheap and you could just put them on. So I got those. My shooting mat came from Cabela's, so I have all that stuff ready for my Maple Seed on
the 15th.
Yeah, on the 15th August. So you're definitely I think you're gonna beat Adriel that day because I'm gonna go from horrible to not so bad.
Okay.
So
I think you'll be fine. You'll be putty in my hands.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last thing for me, I was going to the weekend of the 31st and like the end of the month. I'm going back to Ontario to visit with family and friends and stuff. And I was gonna take the weekend off from shooting, but then I'm like, I got the itch and I'm like, okay, I have to fit in a match somewhere. So there was a match in Hamilton, Ontario that isn't too far from where I'm going to be. So I'm on the waiting list for that. Like I signed up for a bunch of spots. So hopefully I can get in for that one. And that's really it for me. How about you, Adriel?
I did a bunch of stuff. Let's see. Double Lethbridge maple seeds. So the Saturday was hot. Now Lethbridge has this. They have like this action base. So Lethbridge is their range is very close to town, which is super convenient. But because it's close to town, they have like lots of those sky baffles to make sure that any errant rounds would go into town. The bay that we were on was their like, I think it's like their action bay. You can like move forward of the firing line, that kind of thing. So they have baffles all across the bay, which on a hot day, fantastic, because they give shade, right? The sun comes in, boom, like excellent shade from those sky baffles. So that was really nice, but it was still really hot. It was still like 34, which in Alberta temperature is like 40 for Ontarians. I think that's the conversion rate between those. It's like cat years, but like in heat.
It sounds right. Yeah.
It's a dry heat. You should be able to go.
No, it was not. It was not a dry
45,
heat.
And then it'd be like, Ontario's 30.
It was hot anyways, and our shooters were starting to
melt
by the end of the day. Yeah, there's a couple people who had to just sit off to the side because it was too much. Yeah. Second day, it got real smoky because BC's on fire as it usually is this time of year. And so the smoke blew in, which was fantastic because that smoke column was so high up into the sky, no sunlight got through, and it was actually nice and cool on day 2 because it just stopped the sun from coming to us.
So that's
hard
what we
breathe.
Need. Yeah, it's hard to breathe, but that's what we need. We need smog and smoke so that we can actually cut out the sun, and therefore it won't be too overly hot and oppressive.
Yeah, oppressively hot.
So let's start lighting some fires then.
I don't think we need to. I think BC will just like self-immolate on its own. It seems to do that fairly easily.
It goes up regularly.
Yeah, and then so one thing happened at that maple seed that really had me puzzled. So I had a junior shooter running on my red dot gray birch 12-inch barrel 1022. Which like I pull that thing out at everything. I pull it out to like ladies' days. I pull it to maple seeds because it's red dot. It's got I've taken out all the shims, so it's got a very short length of pull. So for a kid or someone who's got short arms, it's fantastic. It's easy to use. Everyone loves shooting red dot, and I've been running it for a while. It's run fine. That day we shot it. We were wondering about accuracy, so in the morning I fired a couple rounds out of it, and it's punching nice, half-inch groups at 25, so that's all looking good. I set it in, and then towards the end of the day, it started not, and I thought like, the shooter, like maybe they were wearing down, and then as I was scoring the second MQTs because COVID's over and therefore I can score MQTs again, I was scoring the second MQTs. I took a look at a piece of paper, and there's keyholes in it. There's bullets going sideways into the paper, and I was watching. So like, what's going on here? So I'm looking and I'm seeing like strikes on the ground, strikes on the right. I'm like, oh, maybe he's getting tired. Like something's weird. I thought the muzzle device was loose and it was like striking that. So in between, I grabbed that red dot, gave it a shake. Nope, it's on there solid. I grabbed that muzzle device. Nope, that's solid. The action's solid on there. Nothing is like lining up with why this thing. I thought, oh, maybe the red dot gave up the ghost. Like maybe the adjustment's out.
Yeah.
But it was too late in the day. Like he was. Yeah.
Did you look down the barrel?
I did when I got home.
Yeah. What was the problem, Adriel?
There was a little bit of lead.
A little bit.
Let me take that out of there. Now let me share that guy. Yeah, there's a little bit of lead. Now this looks like, that's just like a surface. That is not a surface. That is a buildup. And there's a ring of lead about 3 inches ahead of the chamber, about 3 inches ahead of where the bullet would be in the chamber. That ring of lead was constricting the bullets so much that they were not engaging the rifling after that. And they were just pinballing down the barrel. Yeah, and pinballing afterwards. Now, I have lots of rifle. I checked all my other rifles. None of the other ones had this happening. To clean this one out, I had to run a brass rod down it to ram out that lead because I could not get a brush in there. So I had to ram out that lead ring first and like scrape it out. Then I got my brush and it like was not having it. So I got the brush, I got a rod, I chucked it up on my drill. The power drill going through there. That did the trick. And then a couple more sweeps and she was cleared out. And there's no defect or anything like that on the interior of the barrel. Like that might be causing like maybe like a really bad scratch or a bump or something like that. Nope, no such. Just build up. Extremely heavy buildup that that totally ruined the accuracy.
This is one of the loaners? Yes, obviously.
Yes.
So what ammo are you using?
Normally or that day.
Okay.
That day, Thunderbolt. Remington Thunderbolt. And I don't like Thunderbolt because it's dirty.
It is.
And this dirty? Sometimes. I'd like to throw one idea out there. Okay. It was really hot. The lube on that thing maybe it doesn't like the heat. Maybe the lube on those bullets does not like the heat, and you shoot it and it just leads. It just leads the crap out of the barrel because it's just too hot. Maybe that's it. It's black carbon fiber barrel picking up heat from the sun. Bullets going in there, lube melting, pure lead depositing inside there, and eventually just
it's the perfect storm.
Maybe. Yeah.
But Thunderbolt's crap anyways because it's dirty. We all know that.
Yeah,
right, Luke?
Yeah, it's pretty dirty. Right, Luke.
Luke's the listener.
Luke's one of our listeners. He's a Thunderbolt apologist, I think.
Yes.
Apologist.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah. But that's fine. It works well in his gun, and it's cheap. So
maybe if you shoot it in 35 with a black barrel and it gets hot, and then the lube melts off and it doesn't shoot so good.
Yeah,
maybe that's it. Yeah,
but that's what we typically see too. We also, when it's that hot and with black guns, and especially if we're shooting like 400 rounds, almost 400 rounds, you get really gross, dirty buildup in your barrel. Anyways, you have some issues, and
I usually like that. That's like,
but that's
grody.
That's like a lot. I forgot to mention that one of the shooters that was on the line, I told you there was a few listeners. So one of the shooters, he had the Grey Birch Solutions barrel / Hunter X22 / Timony trigger. He bought the kit. So, but with the barrel, and when he went to go and mount it, he had a lot of play with his receiver in the stock. So what he did, he was listening to the show, and he listened to, he saw your blog
video
about it, your recommendation. So he
aluminum beer, beer or pop cans. Probably pop.
Anyways, so when he was on the line, I was looking at him and I was looking at his barrel. Significant. There was no droop to that barrel whatsoever. It got to the point where I'm looking at it, I'm going, did he flip on the X22 stock? Did he flip it over so that he could bend it correctly? He said, and I looked and he did. I'm going, but your barrel is still elevated. It's up ish for better.
That's how you get more MOA out of that gun.
Yeah.
You don't get a rail. You don't get rings. You put the aluminum in there. And you get that barrel pointing up.
I asked him. I said, "Did you flip on the X22 stock? If you're mounting a bull barrel, you can flip part of it over so you can bend it correctly." And he goes, "Yeah, I did that." He said there was a lot of shim. So the hunting gear guy, I said, "Mm-hmm." He said to do this, and he flipped it over. I'm going, yeah, that's an Adriel special right there.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it worked, and he scored rifleman, and
good. It worked. And he's ready for CRPS because he's got lots of elevation in that barrel. He can fire long range with that thing as long as he can zero it in.
Patrick was he's watching, and he was there too, and he actually scored rifleman, and he's coming on as an IIT, which is an instructor in training too. So hi, Patrick. And Kelly is there. She was there too. Kelly Square. We do everything together. Oh, by the way, but I forgot to mention, went out shooting last night for skeet night. We're back at skeet. It was awesome. Good. Kelly beat my pants, but I did not bad, and it did half decent. And yeah, we're back at it.
Good.
I love our skeet
Cool.
nights where we can shoot things and take out our aggressions
On the clays.
on the clays. Oh yeah, let's shoot things and take out our aggression on our clays, not each other or things.
You don't want to pull a Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I totally interrupted you and took over just like Trevor does.
That's all right.
So,
I do that every once in a while. I forget stuff and then I gotta come back. Donut of lead. Yeah.
Donut of
Anyways,
lead.
yeah, it was cool. It was a cool maple seed. I hadn't been down to Lethbridge before, so that's my far south Alberta trip. Yeah. While I was there, I was talking with Steve, who's another maple seed instructor, and we're talking about like GoPros and that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I got one. The mic died on it, but it's 4K, so I just use that and I shoot with my camera, and then I got like synchronized. He's like, dude, just buy another GoPro. I'm like, you know what? You're right. So I did.
You did?
Yeah, I bought a GoPro Silver, which is like a cheaper one, but like it was $200 new. I probably should have asked like Kyle if he had like an old one hanging around, because he's probably got like 5. And then I was on the Instagrams, and I watched Taylor, who's another 3-gunner and IPSC shooter here in Alberta, and he had like some sort of hat mount. I'm like, how'd you do your hat mount? I want to do one of those. And he showed me what he did. I'm like, okay, cool. Drill a hole, got it. And then I took that idea and I went a little bit further than that, because I wanted like
Did you Dremel your hat?
Basically I drilled it. So if you see there, that's real hard to show. It's got like a square hole in it, and that square hole matches up with this guy here, and then sticks up from the bottom. And I just look at this solution. I just stick there's an old paintbrush from one of my kids. Whoop. I stuck it into the hat.
That would so bother me.
I've seen guys do that.
Look at that.
Genius.
He just holds it in there. I got a super tight hat, so it'll sit nice and low, and it's good to go. Yeah. So now this is just the GoPro hat. I just chucked this into my bag, and because before I had like the head strap thing. It looks stupid. I look like a nerd. I don't like that. I want something cool.
And it's stable. And it's stable like that.
Yeah, because the hat.
So I gave it to one of my kids, and I like had him like run around and do somersaults. I'm like, try to get it off just by like not touching it, but you can do anything else. And they were like going crazy, and they couldn't get it off.
Okay, so it's been kid tested. Good.
Yeah. Kid can't get it off. I'm not going to be able to get it off doing 3-gun stuff. Yeah. So
I actually drilled through the beak and actually screwed the mount itself with like the sex bolts, and
I was considering that the little,
I did that
clip thing, right? Like
not the tie wrap that Taylor did, but like the actual sex bolts, right? Yeah, and I drilled through it, countersunk, drilled that through, and mounted my Session 5. That's what I run on my hat, is a Session 5. So even older than yours,
but. The stick. So quick.
No, I'm waving to you. Well, they talk hats.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. I like hacking stuff. So even though I've got like all this other like stuff that I could have used for it, I drilled a hole in a hat. Let's see. I hit the range last night. Before that, I went to Cabela's just to see. I was looking at that Cabela's Covenant 7. It's on sale again. Yeah. I was looking at that. I played with one, and the dials were broken on it. I'm like, that's not a very good sign. No. And then I was playing with they have
but they'll replace it for free.
$100 one. Yeah, but having them broken on the tester is just not a super good sign for me.
Yeah, that's true. But how many people test it? How many people have touched
it? Lots.
Without washing their hands in COVID.
Don't care.
Oh,
don't care. COVID's over. Sorry.
Okay, COVID's not over. You keep telling me that. It's not over. We're still Ontario's. Never mind.
That's some Ontario thing. Sorry, in Alberta it's over.
Not your problem.
I was looking at the Vortex Venom 5 to 25, something like that. I don't have a use for it though. Like that's the thing. I'm like, maybe I want like a cool medium quality scope, because I've got like a $1,200 FFP scope. It's pretty nice. Maybe I want like a medium quality one. But every time I look at them, I'm just like, what would I even put this on? So I didn't buy anything. But what I did get is I got a Vortex extra high 30mm ring to mount my Aimpoint Pro 2, which is my red dot. So when I was at the range, and one of the things that was going through my mind is I'm using a Nikon P series mount for that thing. It's a little bit spindly. It's a little bit, and it doesn't have a great clamp on it. So one of the things that was going through my mind when I was having the accuracy issues the other day at Battle of Alberta was maybe it's the mount. Probably not the mount, but maybe. So I got this because it's a stronger mount. It's stronger. It's not cantilevered. It's just straight up and down, but who cares? It's going at the forward end of the receiver anyways. So pop that on, hit the range. when I got to the range, I went to the bay, and immediately the other, there was only one guy at the bay there because we got there kind of late. He's a maple seeder from the last maple seed I taught at Chaz, and he was practicing his standing and prone positions with maple seed, which is kind of cool to see. Ran the big mags in the 1022, so I've got that adapter for the 1022 that allows it to run the 597 mags. Ran those. The adapter ran flawlessly. The mags sometimes would bind up, like the ammo just wouldn't like go up in the mags, which is like a mag issue. But adapter ran fine. I got a couple of mags all the way through, and feels good. Feels good to just crank ammo out of a 1022 again, just like we used to back in the olden days. And then I shot the WK-180C 9mm conversion kit. This is pretty early. I think this is like their absolute first ones out the door. And there was a couple things I ran into with firing pin not being quite long enough for some ammo, so it just wouldn't punch them hard enough. So I sent them some feedback on some improvements that they can make, and hopefully we get those in. This weekend coming up, I've got a double header again of Maple Seed. This time it's Chaz and Sherwood Park, so local to me. No van camping and showering in the parking lot necessary for these, but I might anyways, just because that's kind of the person I am.
Did you get the shower?
I got the hanging shower thing. Yeah. Tell you what though, on a sandy range, when you're wearing shorts and you've got sunblock on your legs and you're on a sandy range, your legs get filthy, nasty filthy. And showering them off with that black bag camping thing, just a dream. And getting your head just showering off, because it's 34 and you're all dirty and sweaty and nasty, and just to do a quick shower. Oh, so good. We'll do again, definitely. The van camping otherwise is fantastic. Screen windows and everything, beautiful.
Oh dear.
I talk too much about van camping. This is becoming my free, so I'll have to.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I'll have to pass this on to Kyle.
Well, on the weekend, I shot the Bill Browning Challenge at Wapiti Shooters Club sporting clay match.
How was that?
It was a good match. The targets were really good. It seemed like there was a lot of people struggling, but even then, looking at the targets, it didn't seem that difficult. But I mean, I struggled too. But the masterclass shooters, there was some of the scores coming in on some of the stages were like, oh, what happened there? But it was an awesome match. I shot the main event, super sporting, and the true pair game. And basically, I suck. I suck at sporting clays.
How do you measure that? How is that measured?
By percentage, because with sporting clays you can have 100%. Okay. So it's by percentage. And I want to know how you measured your suckitude. How my suckitude?
Did anyone get 100%?
Okay, my average sucks. I shot below my average.
Oh, okay.
So,
it was not a good day. However, that being said, you went out to the range, you had fun, and you were shooting.
Yeah. And the squad I had a text earlier in the week from a guy that was reaching out for 3-gun, and he's just so enthusiastic about shooting and asking if I had a squad. Said no. So, okay, went shot with them, and they are known as the Loud Squad. But I'm okay with. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'll shoot with different people. It was really good. And they definitely helped make the suck more bearable. They constantly had me laughing. No matter how frustrated I got, they got me laughing. So hats off to them, because they made the suck more bearable. highlights of the match, probably the food. So Friday night they did a meet. They like always they do like a meet and greet, and so what Lyle did was he did a Cajun seafood boil. Oh, that was good. Shrimp, scallops, whole peppers, onions, all boiled in like one of those can cookers, spread out, and then there was smoked sausage and brisket. So good. And then Saturday night, Lyle did up a smoked prime rib. So that was once again good. And then brisket sandwiches on Sundays. So the food was definitely a highlight. And a lot of sponsors came out for this match too. And because it was more or less like a fundraising thing for the club. We weren't putting any money into it. And so like a lot of sponsors came out and donated on the prize table and just made it amazing. It was an awesome weekend, just hanging out, having a fire Saturday night, having some drinks, shooting some clays. And yeah, so it was really good, no matter how much I sucked. And I finally renewed my IPSC memberships. So I'm actually looking to register for some matches, looking at like Fort Mac, beginning of August 7th, 8th, Saskatchewan provincials in September. And I think the following week is Chaz. So those are ones I'm really looking at.
Just the ones close by then, eh? I'll just go for a little drive to Fort Mac, maybe Saskatchewan, just down the road from me.
The close ones, yeah.
So how far is the Fort Mac drive for you?
It's about 7 hours.
Oh, and I was complaining about 9. Okay, I got it.
Saskatchewan's probably closer. How long?
No, Saskatchewan is down in Regina.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah, like that's 6 hours from Calgary, and I'm 7 hours from Calgary. So Chaz is about 5 hours.
It's close on there. Yeah, backyard.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like 9 hours. That's over 2 days.
Now it feels like nothing. Yeah, you're right.
But that's about it for me. So then we can get into upcoming events, which is sponsored by Telos Alpha. Telos Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help the business process, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media. Learn more at telosalpha.com. And for upcoming events, we have a few here. Upcoming Maple Seeds with tickets, spots available is Woodstock, New Brunswick on August 8th. Saskatchewan. Quit typing.
Stop being distracted. Read it.
Saskatchewan Landing on August 14th. Regina, August 15th. Cornwall, Ontario, August 15th. And sign up on mapleseedrifleman.com.
Yep. Click the links.
Yeah, when you're typing, the flag is like covering the line above as I'm reading.
He's easily distracted.
Saskatchewan Landing. That's a place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess which province it's in?
Ontario.
Like how you both got that.
Yeah. No. Yes, that's one of our Saskatchewan events. Somebody was asking about BC, if we're going to be doing something in BC anytime soon.
It can't be on fire. That's a prerequisite for Maple Seed. The range can't be on fire, or be under threat of being on fire.
That is correct.
So doesn't that add to the entertainment?
No. Although we have had events where we've had tornadoes and hurricanes. Just saying.
Okay.
I was at the range last night, and there was a tornado warning just south of me for a storm that was going north towards me.
I think this has to do with you, because last year it always rained during my events. Actually, up until last year, how about that? It's always rained at the events that I go to, and not just a little it like storms, right? And hurricanes and tornadoes. We had 4 tornadoes last year. So I think it's going your way. I think you're bringing the rain and I'm bringing the sunshine because I'm happy and a sunshiny personality, apparently.
I think it's going to be fine. This weekend's going to be great.
You out.
Yeah. Sunny, cloudy with showers. It's probably not even going to rain. It's
going
to be a sprinkle snow.
It's Alberta.
Sorry, we're way off topic.
It can happen. Yeah. Okay, but no, somebody was asking about BC. BC will be up and running. We had to cancel a couple of the events because of COVID, and also Adriel's right, because of the fires. We weren't able because Kamloops was literally on fire during our event. So
it's on fire right now.
Yes.
BC is made of wood. BC is a wood province, and it's dry. And it's very on fire.
Dry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. WPRC in Woodstock, New Brunswick. Register now and save the date. On Saturday, August 7th, 2021 at 9 a.m., WPRC will be hosting its first ever ladies only event. Guns and Heels partnered with the CCFR and the Gun Dealer. It's also sponsored by Curry's and Canadian Tire Woodstock. Ladies, Guns and Heels will provide a safe and enjoyable setting for you to receive instruction and try a variety of firearms in various calibers, including 22, 9mm, and 45 ACP. 38 special revolvers, 12 and 20 gauge shotguns, and rifles such as 22, 223, 308, and SKS. Eye protection will be provided. Registration is $50. Meal by Bridget's Catering is included. Please pre-register by Friday, July 23rd to aid in preparations for this event, but don't wait too long as space is limited. To register, send your name and an e-transfer of $50 to WPRC2005@gmail.com, and for your security answer, use WPRC2005 in lowercase.
Tell that person to set up auto deposit.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, the catered meal is going to be lasagna.
I don't like auto
deposit. Lasagna? Lasagna?
At the range. At the range. There is still spaces available, so go and do it. Ontario, that's one thing. I said Ontario last year, Woodstock, Ontario, or not last year. See?
Last show.
Last show. It's not Woodstock, Ontario. It's Woodstock, New Brunswick. I don't know why I said Ontario. I don't know. It's New Brunswick.
You're from Ontario?
And then stick around because the next day is Project Maple Sea there in Woodstock, New Brunswick. Go and do a double header. Yeah.
Yeah, watch for release Ottawa and Trenton upcoming Ladies' Days.
Yeah, working on those. Those were this week too. Working on Lower Trent Valley, which is going to be here in Trenton. So I will be there along with Kelly and Tracy Wilson, I think. So that's going to be happening in September. And then we also have EOSC, which is in Ottawa. That's going to be happening at the end of August. And we're going to release that really soon too. So I'll get the details out for next week. Ladies' Days. Y'all.
Take the ladies to the range. You know, one of the cool things about Ladies' Days is like when a group of ladies, like they all go at once. There's like 5 or like 10 of them, and they just like they show up. They swap their phones around to like videotape each other, and that's their event. Yeah, they bring the squad. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And they want the targets, and they want it. It's just like, we bring all our friends. It's kind of like we're going to the bathroom together, but we're not. We're going shooting together, and yeah. That's why they sell out. Like literally our Ladies' Days here in Ontario will sell out within a couple of days. Did you notice that I took one down, the Claybird one? It sold out.
Yeah. Great. Oh, okay.
They're done.
I did notice that.
So I removed it today. So yeah, that's going to be August.
From success.
I know. Because women want to shoot. Believe it or not, our CMP liberals that are listening, women do want to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that drive the soccer mom cars.
I think you mean minivans that can also be turned into sleeper vans very easily.
That's you. You're no longer that dingier guy. You're now the
van guy.
Living in a van by the river.
Down by the river.
Literally. Because you sleep in it, you shower in it. It's gross. Okay.
Just don't paint it white.
Candy. Free candy.
That's the sliding doors for.
Okay, and on to the news. There's a few interesting ones here. Start off with man claiming to be veteran charged with firearms related offenses among basically he's getting the full gambit. Like this guy, he just doesn't care. And yeah.
So some of our listeners might have actually heard of this guy because I noticed that there were a couple of people who were friends with him that we know. This guy was running a survival training and women's defense company called Sheepdog Enterprises out of Calgary.
Okay.
I've never heard of this guy, but in Calgary, must know people that we know him, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure.
He doesn't have any, he's not anything. He doesn't have any licenses. He's not a member of the military or police. He doesn't have not only a gun license, he doesn't even have a driver's license. This guy just like does what he wants.
Yeah.
And what he wants is completely lawless.
So, yeah. Anyways.
SKS, some old hunting rifle, whatever that thing is.
That's a Martini Henry.
Poor Martini Henry.
Looking at the bottom of that looks a lot like a Martini Henry.
The old.
Yeah.
Little Glock 19X, it looks like.
If I can buy that hat off of
you guys are all excited about the guns, which I am too, but this guy was training people, like serious, and I'm not
probably not doing a very good job of it.
He was doing operator style training, and he had staff that worked for him as well that were doing the training too.
Oh, I think that's a very important point and one that to be made. Like there is no standard to call yourself an instructor in Canada, so when you're going to go take a course, try and really, really vet the person. Don't just take their documents. Go and try and do your own research on the person, see if you can find some background or whatever on them.
Anyways, there's been some distancing between that company and him and some other people as well, just because he stated that he was affiliated with other people.
How long has he been at this?
While.
Does it say?
Yeah.
Anywho, interesting.
Yeah.
Next one.
And Alberta seeks legislation in pepper spray for self-defense.
Yeah,
I think this was an interesting one to watch because this can open up doors.
Good for Alberta.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think they can change it.
It's got to get through federal because it does fall under our firearms laws that are federally mandated. I believe.
Yeah, I think the criminal code includes that the criminal code around weapons is silly. So you can carry bear spray around the mountains. You can't say it's just in case someone attacks you. If you have bear spray on you, a cop's like, "What? You got the bear spray?" And you're hiking around. It's like, "Oh, I got a crazy ex-husband. Oh, weapon.
Yeah.
Off to charge for you, just because you're dumb, just because you don't know the law. Now, if you're smart, you're like, oh, bears. And if you're like, I don't know, in the suburbs of Edmonton, bears. Yeah, bears. And if you're downtown, bears. I'm scared of bears.
They're all over the place.
Yeah,
stray dogs for downtown.
And you're cool. So, what do you guys think? Yay, nay? Like, there's pros and cons to this, right?
I'm all for it.
I say yay.
Because it opens up to being able to do self-defense, which, like is saying, it opens doors by them legislating. You actually have a right to self-defense, I think.
And if you're a criminal, number one, you already have a knife on you. So most criminals or general degenerates around will be carrying a knife. Some of them may be carrying pepper spray as well, if they so want, because you can still buy it right now. You can still buy dog spray. You can buy bear spray. This is just making it so that you don't have to lie when the cop pulls you over and, hey, why do you got the pepper spray? I got a crazy ex-husband. Okay, cool. That's probably a good idea. You should probably have that pepper spray.
But at the same time, and you're absolutely right, if somebody's carrying pepper spray, they will carry it. They're already carrying it right now. So the people so for self-defense, those are the people who are not carrying it. Or they are carrying it for bears if they're going hiking. Let's say they're going hiking. And
downtown.
But the people who are not law-abiding, they're carrying it anyways. They're also carrying guns. Yeah. They're also carrying knives. And that's that.
Yeah.
And if they eventually get to the point where they'll allow us to carry firearms, not going to happen. If they do, though, they're carrying theirs, but they're not licensed. We are. So
yeah, I wonder what they'll do around that. Like, what are the prerequisites you'll have to? It doesn't matter because this is Alberta saying like we should do this, and the federal government would be like, no.
So the federal government says, okay, municipalities, you can actually ban handguns. However, provincial governments, no, you are not going to allow people to carry.
Yeah. Yeah, this won't go anywhere. I like what they're doing. They should be pushing the federal government on stuff like this, and I like that Alberta's doing that. But realistically, I wouldn't say the LPC is going to allow us to carry pepper spray at any time.
No.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
No.
Legally carry it for self-defense. Let's just make that caveat that clear because we
not for bear defense.
No,
because you can do that.
Because we can carry bear or dog spray right now currently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has to be.
But don't you dare use that on a human attacking you.
Well, you can if they're attacking you and you have and it's an appropriate use of force, you can use that pepper spray, that bear spray or dog spray. Sorry, not pepper spray, bear spray or dog spray on that person
or if you sell tickets to spray Gallon. Just saying.
Or if you bought tickets and sprayed Gallon in New Brunswick.
$150 to spray him, and I didn't get to spray.
Awesome.
Jeez.
Oh.
Anyways.
Okay.
This is an updated page on the Government of Canada, their website.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like it.
No. I liked it the other way. You know why? Because we shared the crap out of it.
When they had the pictures of the hunters and they're like,
the hunter
we need to reduce crime.
We need to get tough on crime, gun violence. I'm going, it's a hunter and it's a person that's a female, by the way, sports shooter. So tell me how those people are.
Got to crack down on those degenerates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That video sucks too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they got a video. It doesn't really say much. It does make mention of this violent offenses involving guns up 81% since 2009. This is true, by the way.
But it is, and you know why it is? Or are you going to say but?
It's one specific charge that's increased, and just that charge. It's not actually what it's implying. It's implying that there's lots of offenses and all these violent offenses. Now there's a lot more guns at these violent offenses. That's not actually what is happening.
There's less, actually. So
there's just one charge that's being levied a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what
is that charge? I wrote it down here, didn't I? Firearms, use of, discharging, pointing. This could be like someone shooting an SKS where they shouldn't be.
Yep.
And they would get like a firearms use of, discharging, pointing.
Do we have the dude in New Brunswick? Oh my God, dogs. Okay. No, we don't.
Oh. No, we don't have that on here.
The guy they're looking for a guy in New Brunswick who was shooting on public property, and he was shooting his pistol. And they're looking for him because they would charge him with this.
Yes.
Unlawful use of firearms.
Yeah. Which would seem like increase in violent offenses, but it's like some dude shooting a pistol in the back 40.
Yeah.
It's not really violence. It's just
there's no violence there.
There is an escalation of violence and extreme violence, and that's with gang activity. We're seeing it within our inner cities, and that, and quite frankly, there are more guns that are being used, and there's more and more violent offenses as well. And that we're seeing it not only with males, but we're seeing it with females as well. And we're also seeing the next piece down would be knives as well.
Yeah.
But that's not you, and that's not me, and that's not what this is combating. That's
this over here. Because if you look at the overall trend, it is like it's going down. It's like, oh, it's going up over here. Now this isn't the overall trend. This is gang related homicides, and it almost entirely explains that last 3-4 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, last 3 or 4 years that homicides have gone up is almost entirely gang related homicides are 51% of homicides. So if you take half of it and that half goes up by not quite double, but close to double. That'll make it up.
So there's a comment here, and it's John. John says, and with kids too. So we have to clarify the demographic. What they consider kids is anyone 25 or under. And so that demographic, when you're talking about gang activity, is typically gang members initiate gang members are around 12 years old, 13 years old, and as young as 8 years old. And that's pretty typical. And then, but we see gang members, again, youth is considered 25 or under. So yeah, these are the people that are using the firearms in each other, gang violence on each other. And frankly, shooting at each other. And unfortunately, there's innocent bystanders that are being hit too. So, and that's when shit hits the fan. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but that's the number that's included when we talk about statistics. So,
yeah. So this is misleading. This is misleading. This quote right here is super misleading. This one is a survey. It's a stat on a survey. So whoever they surveyed there, it will have represented that. I think this is incorrect.
I think.
Well, so groups that are disproportionately affected. The group that's disproportionately affected by firearms would be male, whether you go suicide or homicide. They're not in this list.
Yeah.
Why not? Women and girls. That's the opposite. Women and girls, in terms of like homicides and suicides, are less. Now, if in domestics, yeah, higher portion there.
Well, it's male on female, although there's other demographics there too. But the reality is, and they're right, femicide is something that is higher. Again, and there's legal firearm owners who do commit this, by the way, but the majority of them are the people that we just talked about previously, because they're fine with actually harming people and not caring about life. Male on there is suicide. Suicide would be okay. Again, if we
and homicide victims and the killers as well, right? Men would be vastly disproportionately affected by that.
Yeah, it's not females that are shooting. Well, there's some, but no.
This is more victim Olympics than it is reality. Reality is like men kill and are killed the most.
Absolutely.
With guns and without. Some of these, I don't even know if they have stats on this. Do you think they have stats on whether LGBTQ2 people are affected or not affected by firearms? I don't think they have these stats.
No.
They do.
I've never seen any on these. It might be true. It might entirely be true. I've never seen any stats on that.
But the numbers are so small. The numbers are really
there's
small.
600 homicides in Canada per year.
Right.
It's very small. If you had like one homicide last year and 2 this year, it'd be 100% increase.
That's correct, and it's statistics, so it's whatever way that you look at it.
Yeah,
so
that's how it's presented.
But there's specific groups to that too. Like for example, Pink Pistols. They're here in Toronto. They are part of the community, and they are advocating for themselves to be able to carry it because they are disproportionately victims of violence. And I'm not talking firearm violence. I'm talking
all violence.
All violence.
Yeah.
So they want to carry too. And so when the OAC came out and they continued to pound on this, the whole thing about protecting women and Indigenous women, like, are you kidding me? Women, let's empower women. Let's give them the ability to carry firearms and use them correctly. There'll be a lot less people being. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, so look at that list. Look at that entire list. That basically, like Adriel is saying, that covers everybody except
the people who are disproportionately affected.
Me, man.
It's situational. It's situational.
Like that list is like the go-to for when you're virtue signaling.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's a little bit disappointing that this is like a federal government page. If this is a party page, okay, whatever. You know, the LPC has got to paint their issues and whatnot.
Who's doing the page though? It's federal government. Who's doing it?
They're taking some Stats Canada stuff. They're misrepresenting some Stats Canada stuff in here.
Well, of course they are.
They're taking it. Yeah. They're taking this increase in violent offenses involving a gun and pulling that from another stat that says something entirely different.
It depends on which stat you look at. And like I have access to some of the stats on recidivism and violent crimes, homicides, murders. well, it's the same thing. Sorry, homicides, manslaughter, as well as with firearms or guns versus bladed weapons, etc. And it's interesting because it depends on which survey and stat you look at. They're all going to say different things. So it's like cherry picking, basically.
Yeah. One thing that's surprising that 1 in 3 homicides are in Canada are firearm related, but half of homicides are gang related. Those gangs are really like poorly equipped. Because like how many gang members are like knifing each other or knifing other members of other gangs that they can't get a gun? That number should be higher.
Stop that.
Gangs are poorly equipped. They can't drive over the border and go purchase a handgun from the U.S. Come on, slacking.
There's a lot more handguns than you think.
Yeah.
Learn how to hold them upright too.
Yeah.
The reason why there's not a lot is because it can't shoot with shit. Just saying.
True fact. A lot of leg injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're taking action based on these stats we made up and misconstrued. We're taking action, gun laws and enforcement. First thing, got to be the most important. We got to make sure that we hammer down on those. I don't know what these people are doing, hunting or whatever. Got to get them first. Smuggling and trafficking, we'll try, but we'll really do nothing there. Assault style firearms, got to take those. None of the stats supported that, but
those are the biggest problems, of course.
Yeah. Wow. And then gun and gang violence, they're going to invest. Now, I think I brought this up before. Their investment is actually offset by their cuts to the point where it's still an overall cut, especially to CBSA. If you look at the CBSA budget year over year, they announced funding, but they didn't announce the cuts at the same time. And it's actually like out of balance.
Yep.
More cuts than funding. So blah, 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 blah. How can guns be diverted? Well, mostly they just get smuggled. But let's talk about straw purchasing and theft first, and then smuggling and trafficking afterwards.
So how many straw purchases were there in Canada last
Well, they said
year?
that they're increasing. Now, again, percentage-wise, it could be 10 last year and 50 next year.
3, and they're increasing.
Yes. Yeah.
So they just started taking the statistics too, because there wasn't enough to take previous to that.
I think they would have them because like if you straw purchase a handgun, like there's fairly, unless you really obliterate that serial number, there's still ways of pulling that out of the metal. So I would imagine that they are able to match handguns that are found in crime scenes or from criminals and find straw purchasers at a pretty high percentage solve rate. So for this to be an issue, like we would be seeing this all over the place.
Yeah, but they're still saying
they'd be making arrests.
Yeah.
Right.
It's minimal.
Yeah.
The person wouldn't be doing it for very long before they got caught. So it's not a good career choice. Let's just say that.
No.
Not long-term thinking. No.
Yeah, not long-term.
Anywho, I think that's enough complaining.
Okay.
Yeah. Enough of me bitching and complaining about this page.
But they did update the page. And with the picture.
Yeah, before they had the hunters and stuff on there, and enough people complained that they stopped. That's cool.
Well, they just moved that further down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because hunters. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that?
What?
Oh, sorry.
That's a CNC.
Wait. No, I'm not showing that yet. Not the right segment. Stop sharing my screen.
Okay, CCFR Legal Fund donations. We have a couple new ones. Woodstock Pistol and Rifle Club has donated $2,000, and Sherwood Park Fish and Game has donated $10,000 this time around.
Wow,
just a cool awesome. 10K.
Nice.
Yeah,
plop that down on the table.
Alberta, New Brunswick.
Way to go, guys!
By the way, the CCFR, they've got a new sign. They just launched it again. I think it was yesterday. So the neon signs that they do draws for every once in a while, they got a new one up. So $10, go to the website, click on the front page there, and you can, for $10, you can be entered in to win it's the CCFR logo, the new logo with the flag that apparently we're still getting sued for. So go and do that. Yeah, because anyways, you too can be sued by hanging it.
Perfect.
Go buy one. Not
Yep.
the sign. Sign costs share much.
I'll go try and win one.
Yeah, you should. $10. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
All right. New Gun Stuff. New Gun Stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. Slamfire Radio is now a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. The coffee is slow roasted in small batches and is quite honestly some of the best coffee you can get your hands on. Send it to your house by going to boltactioncoffee.com and use discount code SLAMFIRE, all capitals, one word. And this is where we turn it over to Adriel to go over all the new gun stuff he populated in here.
Do we get to see that now?
Yeah, now you get to see the CNC machine. This is I Run Guns. They have something cooking in Lake Havasu. So what they have cooking is that CNC machine might be making these Nodak Spud NDS 18SC lowers.
More 180s.
More 180s. I like more selection. I love the free market. Look at this. All these companies making 180s.
More selection of it.
Yeah. Bring them on. And that's a cool lower. That lower is nice and compact. It's very neat. And they have approval on it. Already have an FRT.
Yeah, that means nothing.
Well, it kind of does mean nothing, because if you produce it locally, you don't need an FRT. You just need to promise that it's a version of an existing firearm or it's non-restricted, and then you can just immediately sell it. So for Canadian manufacturers, they can skip that step. Maple Ridge Armory has version 2 of their Renegade receiver kit. So version 1 did not have a bolt catch. And people are like, "Oh man, I want a bolt catch. I want to hold that thing back so I can slam it on the mag in." Yeah. Some of my mags are tight, and I just can't insert it without the bolt open. So they have made version 2. Version 2 has the bolt hold open, and it also has, I believe they've beveled the mag well a little bit more so that it's got just a little bit more of an easy to slam in, extra flared mag well in there. So that's in as well. Integrated QD port at the rear. I like it. Yep. Kyle and I actually watched a guy run one of these very quickly at a 3-gun event. Very quick. Yep. So they can be used for sporting. Yeah, you can use them for sporting purposes very nicely. I might buy one. I've got a 12-inch barrel. I might buy one. And then I might find an 18.5-inch barrel and then build another one. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe we should.
Maybe we should get Ryan on again.
Maybe. Yeah. I can show him my Maverick. All right, let's move on to the next one here.
One or two. Anyways.
I like this because it's
oh my god.
Fancy.
Hey, we're talking about these old traditional wood stocks and we will be in a very short period here when we get to the main topic, but what about non-traditional? This is the Gersan Regard MC 9mm. It's their 92 clone with gold accents and I don't know, silver, white finish on the rest of it.
Garish.
Chrome.
Kind of a wild G10 grip on there. I imagine that's G10. I don't know. Might be wood. Who knows? It's crazy looking though. No. $6.99. For $6.99, you could get something that looks like it belongs to Pablo Escobar. That's pretty good value. Pretty good value.
For $6.99, you can buy some Coke too. So
the Coke won't last. This gun will.
Okay. There's that. This is reusable.
It's multi-use.
Oh my goodness, it's horrible.
This is kind of neat. So for Canadians, it's neat.
Oh, yeah.
Bushmaster posted the ACR is soon to be perfected.
What do you mean?
To be perfected. Sorry, say again, Kelly.
It's back in black. What's soon to be perfected? What are they?
I don't know. I hope they're not changing it. I hope they just make more of them.
Exactly.
Like Bushmaster, Remington got sold. What's happening with Bushmaster? What's going on? Please make us more ACRs. We need another high quality 223 version in Canada. They're making more. Now, if they're making changes,
make more.
Yeah,
because it was
and cheaper.
And it was running well and it's functioning. It's a good gun. So don't change anything.
Make it cheaper.
Yeah.
I would take a cheaper.
Okay. Make a cheaper one.
Yeah. Like 2,200 maybe, somewhere around there. Perfect. Love it. They're so cool. Anyways, Yeah, interesting fact. So this is Bushmaster Official posting this. This AV12G, I believe this is an Instagrammer that's associated with Black Box Customs, who's out of Calgary. So as far as I know, this is a Canadian picture.
Nice. You mean they're in country? Okay, no, we're not gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna do this.
We're gonna talk about this belt.
No.
It's the Lego belt. Yeah,
it's the Lego belt. It's the ruler, the foldable ruler. Oh. Double Alpha Academy is releasing a Lynx belt.
Why?
Say again. What?
Why?
Because.
Did you watch the video?
I watched the video. I thought it was pretty cool.
Compelling reasons. There's some compelling reasons. One, your belt is super bulky. Most people can't even put it in a backpack. They have to strap it to the outside of their backpack because it's huge.
That's fine.
This one folds.
Small, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This one is stiffer than a regular belt because it's stiff and it uses pins.
Stiff.
Yeah. So what happens if you're actually in between sizes?
But
you can remove remove
yes,
links.
You can remove.
I know, but what if
they just pop out?
What if you remove one link and it's too small, and you put the link back in and it's too big?
This middle buckle bit here has some adjustment in it.
Yeah, it'll make up for that gap.
Yeah.
That's your middle link.
You're not selling me on it. You know what it reminds me of?
I kind of like it. So
it reminds me of those snakes that you go like this with.
Yeah,
the ones that are connected.
Yeah, the little toy snake. Yeah, the little wooden ones, right? I kind of like it. You know, the bulkiness thing I hate about my belt. I carry a big bin and it takes up like half my bin just putting a belt in there with holster and all the other crap in it. This would be much smaller. I like the stiffness of it. A round belt, a very stiff round belt, will give you pinch points at your hips because your body, your torso is not round or oval, or maybe it is. I mean, if you pack on some COVID weight,
I'm round.
These segments will move to your body better than a very stiff round belt will. So you won't get those pinch points on your hip bones, for example. Now, this isn't an issue for IPSC shooters because you guys are carrying 5 pounds on your belt, but a 3-gun belt fully loaded is like 15 pounds. It's a bit of weight, and if you're like wearing that.
Tell her about the colors. I think you're going to sell her on the colors.
Whoa.
No.
You can buy, because they're just links and you can put them together as like whatever way. There's just a pin through there. You can buy whatever colors you want. You can do like a B pattern if you want to. Black, yellow. You could do like some sort of alternating thing in there or just make it all one color. So we can do like, here, what two for cost? Oh, no, not that much. 10 links? No, come on. They break this thing?
Yes.
I think I broke it.
Oh, you win $100. Look at that.
I broke it. No, was it inches? 34. 27 links. It's not $26. That's a lie.
I was going to say, there's no way that's cheap.
You got to start selecting the colors and then it'll add up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was. For me, it was about a $70 belt. I was looking, and that's US, right?
So it's $26 just for the privilege to start building it.
Yes, the privilege. No.
Okay.
$70. $70 US is not a lot for a belt, though. A regular double alpha competition belt is $70. Okay, Canadian. Does US?
Yeah, you're doubling the price.
No,
come on,
US and Canadian. It's $30 more.
No, it's not.
Okay, but what if I buy one?
Okay, buy one.
What colors would I use though?
Purple.
Purple? Yeah, I like purple. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's super weird. Anyways, no, I won't do this right now. Anyways, that belt is out.
Adriel orders a belt.
The plastic links. So one of the things that they said on the video is that on the inside, the Velcro is molded into the link. So it's super sticky. You know, like you're usually like trying to put that stuff on there. The only thing I'm worried about is the width of it and whether I can get like a blade tech, like a tech lock on there or not. I probably can't.
Ha! I mean, sorry.
That's the thing. I'm not sold on
I have a Dremel. I have a drill. I have epoxy. I can do anything I want.
But why would you want to do that
tools.
with the belt you just spent $70 US on? By the way, Corey Johnson, he says if it's too big, Kelly, then we're allowed to eat more cake. Yeah.
Good suggestion.
You got to upsize yourself.
But maybe we ate
to the belt.
too much cake. Now it's too small.
Yeah.
All right.
You need another link. Need another link then.
Yeah.
More cake, more links.
You know what? You can have a subscription. Have them send you a link every month.
Do you think they just send me one for free? Like, hey, I'm on Slamfire. It's this podcast in Canada. They probably hang up at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Canada?
Canada?
Where's
I
that?
thought this was interesting. Delask Arms is offering non-restricted barrels. I didn't know that we had umps in Canada, but we must. Have you guys seen umps, UMPs?
No.
They've got them. They've got non-restricted barrels. They will verify as non-restricted with the CFO. They will test fire it. Look at this. Send them your ump. They will make it non-restricted for you.
CMP?
I didn't know we had them.
Umps. What you gonna do with all that ump? All that.
Anyways, if you have one of those things, Delask will hook you up and make you non-restricted. It probably puts like a huge barrel on it, but you'll be non-restricted. You can go like shoot a deer with it. This is the last one. This is one I think I've talked about the Zukov stock on the Magpul on the 180s before. Spectre Ballistics is working on making an adapter for their cool new lower that will get the Zukov stock going on it, which I think is the best option available because the Zukov stocks are like $130. They have a decent cheek piece on them. So if you look at a lot of the Picatinny rail stocks, they're made in the US and they're made for pistols, technical pistols, right? So they don't have a very good cheek rest on them. The stock, like the actual thing that goes around your arm, is like one of them strappy things, and it's not really a stock. It's a arm brace kind of a thing. This has a real stock on it. It's adjustable for length, and you can get Magpul adjustable cheek pieces to give your cheek weld. And it's folding.
Yeah.
And it's plastic. And it's like, this is a high quality part for $130. The ACR stock is fantastic, but the ACR stock is $300 and something. This is $130.
Yeah.
And it it flows with the lines of the gun really well. I want one.
It does.
And as soon as they release the aluminum one, this is like a 3D printed, they're just mocking it up to see like what it would look like and how to build one. As soon as they release that, I'm probably going to get the lower and the stock because I think that's the best way of doing a 180. It looks the coolest. I mean, the fixed MOE stock I got right now is probably functionally all I need for 3-gun, but then there's, what does Nut and Fancy call it? The second kind of cool.
Nut and Fancy.
I think that's all my new gun stuff.
And that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Bubba Gump, you're up.
Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Okay. Well, we have Jesse and Joel from Prestigious Wood Stocks. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing excellent. How about you guys?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, pretty fantastic. It's finally cooled off in Alberta here, so we're not all dying from heat stroke. That's nice.
Yeah, I feel you.
And we're just getting trench foot.
Yeah, awesome. So one of the reasons we brought you on, I bought some of your stocks, and I've been selfishly getting on like Enfield guys onto the show to talk about Enfields, restocking them, what kind of accuracy things you can do to them. And that's been primarily what we've been after is what I've been after is trying to get all the good information from people. So maybe just before we get going too far, just let us know a little bit about Prestigious Wood Stocks and how you got started.
Well, I guess originally we got asked by a customer if we could build some MK3 stocks, and we figured we could do it. We definitely bit off more than we could chew when we started, and it was a lot harder than we ever could have dreamed it being, but now we're 3 years later and thousands of parts later, and it's definitely come a long ways from where we started. So it's been a wild ride. It's amazing to see the progress and the equipment that we've slowly leveled up from, and we've built all our original equipment right from scratch. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. The first ones to go from 0 to 1 was like months of hard work and lots of frustration.
And they've evolved a lot since those first ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look back at some of our original parts and we're like, We've come a long way.
but we had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
there's a lot more.
How did you guys? How did you guys start off? So, like, you weren't always into making Lee Enfield stocks. What did you do before then?
I've always been a custom fabricator. We've always built stuff, pretty much almost anything from
Technically,
Renos.
we still do that now as well. We did. This is just one of our endeavors. So,
Interesting.
And it's just seemed to have grown into essentially almost a full-time gig for three of us. We got one more helper that just left here, and it's pretty much what we do almost all day, every day. Besides trying to build new equipment and build new prototypes for new models, it's been
our first machine was completely home built. Our machines now are older Italian machines that we've tore down and retrofitted for our purpose.
Interesting. What are you guys using to build these stocks? So do you use like a stock duplicator, or is it like a CNC, or what's the
It's 100%
technology?
CNC milled, all 4-axis rotary cut parts. So our latest machine now, we can chuck 4 blanks into it, mills 4 parts at a time, mills all 4 sides, and when they come off, we more or less just trim the ends off of them and clean them up, and they're pretty much ready to go in a box and ship out.
Pretty much just a trim and a quick sand. Some of the parts have an end process that they'll, like the number 1, Mark 1, Mark 3, and all that. They have like the little clip on the back that retains the bolt for the butt stock. That's a secondary process that's done on another jig, kind of like the Panther router you see in the back.
Kind of like these guys.
Yeah. So all of them will be done on more of a manual hand-run
like this
process
guy.
machine.
Oh yeah,
tricky feature to make.
Yeah. And then stuff like the butt stocks and everything, the end processes will get clamped into. Well, actually, I can show you one of those jigs.
All the sockets, the butt end processes, the pockets on the ends there. That kind of stuff is all jigs that we had to invent and build all the processes and leapfrog from one CNC machine to another machine. So
all the butts and everything will get clamped into there, and then this gets bolted to the side of another CNC machine so we can hold the pieces upright and come and mill the end process and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of finesse. There was a lot of trial and error, and made a lot of expensive firewood over the years trying to do it. So that walnut isn't cheap. It's sure nice to work with. So.
Yeah, that's that looks like a lot of work. I mean, you don't think of like Lee Enfield as a 100-year-old rifle, like it couldn't be that hard, but the woodworking back then was pretty sophisticated.
It's unreal. I still look at a lot of the features in these old stocks and have a hard time trying to even figure out how they were built in the first place.
I remember our biggest roadblock at the beginning was just getting that hole down the center of that buttstock.
Yeah, this guy through the end.
Oh yeah, it's a long hole to drill.
Through.
Yep.
Yeah. To land that perfectly straight through, and it's 2 different sizes and has to end like precisely at the right spot inside there so that your screw can shoulder out and hold the buttstock into the receiver. So you got to be pretty accurate on where that hole ends and where it steps down to the next size. So quite a few jigs, quite a few tools before we finally got to a process, and now we're actually just building a new automated machine to hopefully help us do that a lot nicer and more consistently. So
we find we're getting to capacity of the last machine we built, so it's time to build another. So.
Well, that's a good problem to have.
Very much
keep up with demand.
Yeah, as we diversify into new models here as well, it'll definitely just need to keep growing. We're starting to build our second production machine for mill and stocks and stuff like that. So just one foot in front of the other. It takes a while because we buy old machines and strip them down, rewire them, put all new motors and controllers and everything into them so that they're brand new, and make so that we can service them and run them, and makes a lot better machine in the long run for us. And honestly, we couldn't really go and buy what we use on a daily basis for probably less than $150,000. So probably not till next week anyways. So.
Can't just roll out there and get an Enfield number 1 Mark III wood duplicator, eh?
No, not easily
exist.
anyways.
No.
We're probably one of the few people on the planet that are making those stocks now, and a lot of the more oddball stuff like the cavalry, like the Mark V and stuff like that are definitely some tricky parts that were in there that we're making that I don't think anybody else is making anywhere on the planet. So big long stuff like P14s like that.
Oh yeah.
That's a tricky part to make. To do that all in one shot is a lot of work, and this is more or less how they come off the table and just need to be sanded. So it takes some finesse to get it to that point. And definitely a lot of trials on that stuff.
When milling, they get a little flexy by the end. So.
Yeah. They're just really crazy asymmetrical parts, so they're really off-centered when they're in the lathe. So when you try to tip them over sideways, there's so much deflection on them that you got to really be ginger with your tool paths that you write. So.
Interesting, yeah. So I purchased a number 4 Mark 1 stock set off you guys. What other models do you guys support, or what other stuff do you guys have?
Right now we got the number 3s, the number 4s. I'm actually just modding up the number 4s to do the number 4 Mark II right now. We do the jungle carbines.
The number 1 Mark 1.
The number 1 Mark 1s. The
tricky,
number 5 cavalry with like the big, long, crazy upper wood on there.
I don't know if we have. I think we sent the last one out.
It's hard to keep stock. Oh, we got B grade.
Oh, we got a B grade one of the.
Yeah. It's hard to keep stock on the shelf these days is kind of almost our biggest problem. So everything's almost just milled and shipped almost immediately. So,
well, if you think about it, like Canada is awash in sporterized Lee Enfields, and there's a lot of people out there. And there's only so many of them though, and we're starting to run out of them. And I think a lot of people are looking at those rifles that were sporterized and thinking, how do I get this to original? And you guys are one of the only games in town that are making these kind of things, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy. We've shipped these things worldwide now. Like we're probably at 950 orders on our online store, and we've shipped everywhere to Russia, Germany, Italy, France, Greece, Australia, New Zealand, all over the States, all over Canada. It's
a lot to the US. I was on a forum looking at some Lee Enfield tips on restoring, and you guys came up as like the stock maker to use out of Alberta here.
We're doing our job right then. So.
Yeah, I think for something like this. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just been a long time coming, I guess, and we're just interested to just keep growing and keep rolling out new models. We're working on Mauser right now. The Swedish carbine, we're pretty much just about finished here. We're just doing our last test cuts on it this evening. Had to stop the table so we could hop on this podcast with you guys. So didn't want to have the sound of routers running in the background like what we normally listen to all day.
It gets a little obnoxious.
Yeah. Which Swedish carbine were you guys trying to build out?
It's this guy here, which is it's the 1907. So oops. I guess. Yeah, sorry. Standing too close.
We got all the numbers written down. We're fabricators. Yeah. So we make the thing.
Yeah. So that's the replication, and then this is ours we're just kind of doing our test fits, making sure that everything's just nice, and we're pretty happy with it now, and we're pretty much ready to roll these guys out. So you just cut them, test fit them. There's probably like 5 or 6 blanks like this where you're just doing little refinements and fine tuning on little features to make sure that actions are tight and everything's really crispy and solid to make a good, solid, safe stock for people to use. And yeah, these ones are all segmented. We just glue our scraps together to do testers on before we cut up all our expensive walnut. But
yeah,
it's definitely.
When they mess up, cutting up those boards gets a little painful.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say there's a bunch of K31s. If you're talking about Swiss right now, there's a bunch of K31s in country that have some pretty rough wood on them. I don't know if Kyle or Mo have seen those or Kelly, but a lot of those K31s that we got in country had real rough stocks on them. They're all Milsurp. Those are fairly recent. There's not as many as the Lee Enfields though. And that Lee Enfield thing is going to be a good slow burn where people are continuing to refurbish those things and try to get them back to their original military glory, give or take. with a new stock.
It seems like they've more or less like doubled in value in even the last couple of years here since we started making them. So it seems to be more and more of a hot commodity for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people might have like a good shooting sporter, and they want to take that and make it look original. I have an M1 Garand in 308, new stock, and I love that it's a new stock because it's not all original, so I can actually use the thing. And I can go and shoot it. If I had an all original M1 Garand or an all original Lee Enfield with all matching metal parts, all matching wood, original stuff, I'd never take it out shooting. But if I have if I have a reproduction stock, then it looks like the original. And for all intents and purposes, it is. But it just like the collector value and the collector fear isn't there, and I can actually shoot the thing. I can actually take it out and take it to a match or something like that. So. That's something
makes
special.
It a lot more fun for sure. It's nice having trophies, but it's nice having something that you can actually go out and use and have fun with. So.
And you can stain it all at the same time, so you get matching colors. Like a lot of the sporterized ones, you've got the buttstock. You could try to get the forend, and maybe it'll match, and get the upper handguards. Maybe they'll match, but they won't. They'll never match the exact same color. So if you can get them. All at once and then fit them all, do a really nice job. And we had was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we had Rifle Chair on, who's a Lee Enfield bedding. He's really into Lee Enfields, and he was telling us about the different bedding techniques we can use in there. And to do that with a new rifle, or a new stock rather, really good opportunity to do that kind of thing, because it kind of gives you that opportunity to get it all right from the start and not rely on the old wood that was drug around by farmers for 50 years in Alberta and used and abused and that kind of thing, which they are. All those old sporterized Lee Enfields are like that, right?
And even just expansion and contraction on the wood over time from moisture fluctuations makes for loose fitting actions in the long run, because they could just get sloppy from just that expansion and contraction, just like a hammerhead when it goes loose inside your
We've found that has been a bit of a challenge in remanufacturing these too, because all our samples are 100-something or give or take years old, and they've been through a war or two, or they're shrunk. They've been like. Well, a Lee Enfield with the bayonet is basically a staff weapon. So how much damage over the things over the years, and then re-engineering from that, and then finding it's like, all right, what wasn't quite right, because it's not new, and then filling in all the blanks in between. So
all the little modifications and changes over time as well, because some of those rifles are pretty well standardized. Some of them are not really well standardized. A little bit of custom stuff.
And we've experienced, like, we've had customers bring in like a handful of MK3 stocks, and we've pulled all the original woods off, and even just trying to swap them between different actions, none of them even directly drop on. Like, they almost all need to be individually fitted for that action, otherwise you're shaving and scraping anyways. So it's really fascinating to see the difference. It makes us feel not quite as bad, because we're like,
try to leave a little extra material in the places that seem to have those problems, so that you can actually have a nice fit,
sand it down. So, I noticed my butt stock, there's a style that has like 2 wings off the top, and then there's a round with just 1 wing, and you guys have the 2 wing, and I just like sanded off that corner. So I'd imagine out there's guys that have the 2 kind of wings on the butt stock thing that they need, and everyone else.
It's similar to the jungle carbine, I think, which is more like this guy. This one has the jungle carbine has the two corners on it.
Two corners,
and then the MK4 would have just a single shoulder on the one side. So I don't think I have one here, but
it's been interesting going through it. I've been taking my time and just doing a nice slow job trying to fit the different parts and sand things to size. But I'm getting closer. I'm getting close. My forend is there. My buttstock's there. Now I just need to I want to make sure that bedding is like absolutely perfect. So I'm really taking my time on that. And then I've got to do, according to Rifle Chair, I've got to do raw linseed first and then boiled linseed after. Am I getting that right, guys? According to him, that's what I got to do.
We haven't had the chance to play with the finishing as much. We've been making them and sending them out as fast as we can. Just
shipping them raw.
That's your guys' job when you get them, is to make something spectacular. So
automotive paint, high sparkle,
whatever melts are better, I guess. Just paint it all white on top of it. Yeah.
Gold metal flake with red candy.
Ooh, yeah. I think I get some mean stares at the Milsurf matches if I tried doing that.
Unless you just show up with parts that are more like this,
like a jungle carbine milled out of zebra wood.
Yeah, out of like African. It's like, don't bother staining. This is all just full grain match set, one cut from a single block.
Oops, wow!
Oh wow,
that looks amazing. So, what kind of woods do you guys use? Is it walnut? I've seen
pretty much
zebra.
Exclusively walnut, and beech is fairly sought after. It's been a little hard to get in the last probably 6 months. We got a fresh order coming in here probably next week.
As some of them, we are like of the ones that were made out of Queensland Maple, we probably got the only little bit of Queensland Maple in the area in our shop at the moment. So
yeah.
There is that.
So what's the difference in pricing? So if somebody was looking for something a little bit more unique, like the zebra?
Like the zebra wood's something, I don't know, it seems like in the Lee Enfield world, everybody kind of wants to like back to original, and posting out exotics doesn't seem like something that most people want. And just that type of series of rifle, I could see it a lot more in more modern stuff.
That being said, the more modern stuff definitely is on the way, and custom woods at that point and everything will be, what do you want? If we can get it, we'll make it.
As far as like our regular stuff, like our walnut is kind of like our flagship material that we use. Beech kind of falls into the same price point. Queensland Maple is like almost more than double on per board foot cost, so we have to charge a bit more for those, just because the raw cost of the material is astronomically more expensive than even expensive walnut. So
if somebody has something custom that they would like done, are you willing to do that? I know you just said that you have so many orders right now, and you're so far behind, you're actually catching up to yourself. So
sorry.
But if somebody wants something that's a little bit more custom,
it's definitely possible for sure. Like we just invested here into a really high quality industrial 3D scanner, so we'll be able to reverse engineer stocks a lot more rapidly than we have been in the past, and that should help us turn over more different types of models and make it easier to do one-offs. Right now, one-offs are just a lot of work. To go from 0 to 1 is extremely difficult. For us to go from 1 to 100 is effortless afterwards. But the 0 to 1 is a massive hurdle to jump on pretty much every stock, because there's so many weird features that need custom tools and jigs. And
the model is completely drafted in digital space, and everything's measured and brought in, and then we have to test cut it and make sure it all fits. And as you see, is our test cuts with the glued together blanks and everything. And at the end of the R&D period, when we're happy we have a model after 6 or 7 tries, and we're happy we've got something right, then we've got the piece that we sell, as versus just doing that to sell one stock. That can get expensive for that one stock. As we bring things more into our catalog, and as we have interest in things, it's like, there's a lot of people interested in this. Then it's been worth going, we're going to prototype this one next and bring it out. But as you said, with the scanner and everything, it makes it a lot easier to go from nothing to something in a fraction of the time.
So we'll definitely be open to a lot more custom work in the future here, but at the moment we've been trying to just focus on production work, just because it's the only way we can pay the overhead at the moment. So the one-offs, it's hard to pass the R&D cost off onto the customer. It's like you don't want to spend $2,000 on a single stock, because it takes us 100 hours to go from 0 to 1. Where when we can make something over and over again, then we can blend out the R&D cost over making more multiples of the same stock. And then we don't really have to charge the customers that. We can more just charge it on what we feel is a fair value for what we're trying to produce. So more just material cost and time it actually takes to manufacture is kind of more of our factors than anything else. You get lots of the old timers and stuff that like to scoff at our prices and think that our prices are eccentrically high, but when you start to try to produce 4 high quality parts that are all in high resolution and actually get them from zero to a finished part and shipped out and in your hands with free shipping in North America, it's like, I think we offer pretty fair value. And in today's world, it's like just the cost of the raw materials is so expensive now in comparison to what it used to be, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You get the guys that are like, oh, I bought these things from a military surplus for $30 a piece, you know, like 40 years ago. It's like, well, that doesn't even buy the walnut to go into the block before you've even begun to touch it yet. So it's kind of just a factor of today's world, you know?
Yeah. Now, you guys offer more than just the Lee Enfield stocks and rifle stocks, right? Have you guys gotten into like grips or anything like that?
A little bit.
We've done a little bit of the Colt 1911 grips, just more playing, but they actually
they're easy enough to make, right?
Yeah. They haven't.
We just haven't had a lot of interest in them really.
I don't know if it's more just that the market's saturated, but we make like really nice book match sets where they're actually cut from a single block and they're actually like matching sets from side to side. So once you get them, we've got a couple. These ones are really nice to do and really nice exotics like black and white ebony and stuff like that, which is just like phenomenal pieces. But these are like cut from a single piece and then manufactured. So we actually keep them in together through the whole process so that's like a single block that those grips came from.
Cool.
And like our fit up and stuff's really nice on them. We just really don't move a lot of them, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people making Colt 1911 grips out there and lots of really fancy ones.
And we seem to get all the traffic for the pre and post-war rifles at the moment. So.
I don't know if it's maybe just the demographic that comes across our page is more people that are looking for the Enfield type stuff and only see that we have the grips and stuff like that as an after fact maybe, but that's hard to say exactly. But there's really no limit to what we can make, and we're happy to make almost anything that people want, but
you just got to know the people want it.
Yeah, well,
you put an original in our hands, we can reproduce it and we can spit it back out the door nowadays, and it's getting a lot easier and a lot faster for us to do that. So it's just come with years and years of practice and trial and error and just keep pushing. So
yeah, fantastic. Well, I mean, you'll have a built-in audience of Lee Enfield stock buyers for many years yet, because like we were saying, there's so many of them in Canada and in the US, and all those people will eventually want to turn those into something, right? Turn them into something cool. Where do people hear about Prestigious? Where do they find your products to buy them?
Mostly, I would assume just through Google searches and stuff like that. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, but I think most of our stuff just comes from our online store, which is just prestigiouswoodstocks.com. And I think people are obviously finding us from all over the world just using that. Probably Google is probably our good friend. And I think just with the amount of traffic that we get, I think our site and stuff's fairly optimized for it, and it just seems to attract those kinds of people.
We're probably going to be getting more into advertising as time goes on and we get more models and things. It's but as of right now, it's been passively growing while we've been building it, and it's just been kind of just growing with us as we go. So it's been a steady climb together.
Yeah, that says something about your product, quality of your product when it sells itself, and you don't need to advertise. Word of mouth is enough to keep you guys busy and burning the midnight oil, cranking out Lee Enfield stocks all day long.
We appreciate that for sure. So. we do focus on quality, and we're really picky about what we roll out the door as an A grade. There's lots of times where you're really saddened when you cut a beautiful piece and it comes out and one little knot or a check or something opens up in the blank, and you're just like, oh, well, I guess that's a B grade. On to the next one.
Yeah.
It's like sad face.
Yeah, it comes with the territory, but we've gotten really good at working around it as best we can. But we want people to be extremely happy with what they get, and so we're really picky with what we roll out. And if it's not quite good enough, well, it's just not quite good enough. So we push it off to the side and sell it as a B grade, and make another one for customers that want A grade. So.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay, well, when the episode goes out, we'll be sure to put a link to prestigiouswoodstocks.com so that any of our listeners who hear and want to refinish their Lee Enfield and go full wood on it can seek you guys out, and we'll link to your Facebook and Instagram as well.
Awesome. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if there's any other custom models or gun stocks that you'd love to see, shoot us an email and we can definitely work it out. If we can get an original in our hands, we can reproduce it and be able to make them for the masses for everybody to be able to enjoy. So we're really happy. We're glad we were able to get into helping out the Lee Enfield family, but we're happy to grow and help out many different demographics of different types of gun stocks. So
perfect. All right. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Well, we really appreciate you guys' time, and you guys have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay. Listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood and refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca.
Do you think you would do like a Lee Enfield stock? Think you would refinish one of those?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, you
probably.
do that.
Throw some boiled linseed oil or raw linseed oil.
You have to do the raw first, and then boil.
Yeah, you're
the raw soaks it in.
Got to give it to it raw first.
Boiled seals it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's it. That's what I heard.
You can find Facebook and Instagram. Get your Lee Enfield stock finished, whatever you like.
Raw.
Facebook.
Like
raw. Okay.
Don't think.
Circle back, boys.
Pretty much following up with Facebook along the way. Emails. Super Gal, you want to take this one?
Okay. So it says, "Hey guys," and Super Gal, that would be me, I guess. I think it was episode 412. You guys were talking about how about someone was handling their gun. Well, I think it was Mo Betta. By the way, I love it when they use your new name. Somebody used
It's slowly growing on me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So going back, I think it was Mo Betta. He was downrange. You said that it was a common sense that you wouldn't be handling your gun while anyone was downrange. Period.
It was Kyle.
It was
me,
that's
true. Yeah. Would you guys mind going over some more common sense safety stuff? Because common sense isn't common anymore. Nope, kidding. Even the basic stuff like trigger and muzzle disciplines, safe transport, eye and heating protection. I think that's supposed to be hearing protection. For some people, it's been a year or more since they've been to the range, and it's kind of scary to watch. P.S. Safety is everyone's responsibility. If you see something, say something. Just be nice, though. Thank you. So we can put this as part of.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about some of it now, or do we want to make it as a main topic? I think it's a great idea.
I think it'd be a good main topic.
Me too.
Oh, I'll add one in just for right now because they were talking about muzzle discipline, and it's a real easy, quick one to cover. Mm-hmm. And you see it, whether it's at the range or whatever, people, oh, my firearm's loaded, and start waving it around. Doesn't matter where they point it when they're putting it in a case or whatever. I don't care if it's unloaded. Don't point your muzzle anywhere other than
downrange.
Yeah. If you never want to get in trouble for etiquette, you take your cased firearm to the bay that you're shooting on. You make sure that there's no one down range, and the whatever range protocol says that it's a hot range. You unzip your gun, you take it out of the case facing down range, you pop it on the table, and you do the reverse when you're going home.
Right.
And you take your targets home. You don't leave them up on the target boards.
Okay, we are doing this then. Okay, yeah, you clean up after yourself.
Not just at the bench. Like if you're going out for skeet, sporting clays where you're not actually at a bench, when you're coming out of the stand, don't just break your gun open and wave your barrel at people. It happens a lot.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. You have to have, so if you're a skeet or trap or whatever, make sure your gun it's open so people can see it. And yeah, don't point it. Biggest thing is don't point it at people. He said trigger discipline too. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you actually see your target. I was going to say it the Maple Sea way, but I didn't. One of the biggest things is be aware of who is around you. So if you're on a firing line, designate somebody to be an RSO, and then that way there's going to be less people playing with their rifles while people are downrange, because whoever the RSO knows how many people are on the range and where people are. They usually call the line hot or not. So it's a big thing. Eye and ear protection. You need it. Always wear it. Always keep some with you. If you don't have any, ranges typically have it at the range, extras, just in case.
Always a good idea. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. People are scary though. What you were talking about, it happened at a range I was at, and somebody was down at the 100. We had it. So the range is one firing line. So it had 25. 25. In the middle was 100, and on the other side was 50. And somebody was on the 25, and people were downrange at the 100, and people were shooting at the 25 while people were downrange, and we were going, no.
Wow.
Yeah. People came back. Those people lost their privileges to the range, and the guy actually didn't. The guy that was doing the shooting, he says, "What? You're downrange. It was on the 100. We're on the 25. You're good."
No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. So he got thrown out of the range, and he lost his privileges at that range.
Good.
So
Right,
so yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it. Yeah. I wouldn't want anybody shooting.
Also consider that someone who is that lax in safety will also be doing other things that are lax in safety, like potentially bagging a gun with maybe the chamber's empty, but the mag's loaded. It's like, oh, the chamber's empty. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, how many guys do you see do an unload, show clear? Like, how many new shooters do you see do unload, show clear, and they rack their slide, don't pull the mag, rack their slide, pull the mag. It's like, show clear.
Again.
And very important that you do step one first.
I'm obsessed about it. Before I leave, I check it 5 times before I put anything away. So, don't want any mistakes.
We should think about this.
It seems common sense, but don't touch a firearm while people are downrange, even if you're at 25 or 100. They just don't do it. Don't point your gun at people. Don't handle it when people are downrange.
Step back from the firing line, because a lot of people get nervous, even if you're just sitting there and you're going, I'm not touching that. I'm not going to step back from the firing line.
It doesn't matter how experienced you are. You know you. Okay, you were very particular with everything. You know you, but you adjust something. That person doesn't know you.
Yeah.
They don't know how meticulous you are. So just put everyone at ease. They don't know you. You don't know them. Just nobody touch anything.
If somebody does do this, don't be afraid to say something, and don't be afraid to report them as well.
Yeah, for sure. Have a nice conversation. Hey, I'd rather you didn't do that.
Yeah. Hey, that's against the rules. Like, when someone's downrange, you have to back up from your rifle. If you like phrase it simply and assertively, most people will be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm new here. I don't know." Or they could be like, "No, it doesn't matter. It was unloaded," and then you report them.
Yeah,
like, you got to give someone an opportunity to learn something. And I think,
absolutely.
Well, everything's like a teaching opportunity, right? A lot of people especially around Alberta here, like they've been shooting out in the back 40 or something like that, where there's no rules, and then they go to a range, and there's actually like quite a few rules in, and depending on how the onboarding goes, maybe they didn't have to take a test or something like that proved that they knew those rules. So,
but be aware of the rules. So, for example, what caliber you can use on that specific range, that needs to happen. If you're shooting steel, what your rules are on that particular range or in that province for shrouding, different things like that. And what's steel rated for? Nothing worse than shooting some steel and, all the way through, and you've just you've shot it and your bullet goes all the way through, and you've just ruined that steel for other people. So,
well, I like ranges that make it easy. I like ranges that have like the rules on the bay, like big signs and like big, easy to see stuff, because sometimes you forget. Sometimes it's just easy. It's great to have those reminders that are like really obvious.
Well, and I'll just say, like, I'm sure a lot of people don't do it, but when you go to a new range and you get your membership, read their standing orders. You're given your book, whatever. Actually read them, because ranges are very different on what you can do at each in particular range. So actually read through that and understand that. Ask the questions if you need to. No one's going to give you a hard time if you ask a question.
Some of them vary quite a bit on ceasefire. So on ceasefire, with some of them, when you're going to go down range, some of them say like, "Oh yeah, just leave your gun with the action open on the table. That's fine. Just don't go near it. Go back behind the line or whatever." Some of them will be like, "Nope, you rack it. You put it on the gun rack behind, and there's no guns pointing down range." So that part varies. There's actually quite a bit of variation in there. I mean, like, I don't know. The only ones that are going to really get you in trouble is handling or even close to your firearm when people are down range, or muzzle control, or like Kelly was mentioning there, using the wrong caliber on steel or targetry that you shouldn't be using, and wrecking stuff. Wrecking stuff is a sure way of getting out. Taking your 12 gauge and cooking off some buckshot into some wood stands and destroying them in short order is going to get you kicked off.
Yeah. Or taking your SKS and shooting clay throwers. That's another good way.
The SKS is a tool of destruction on most ranges. Most ranges have a very hate relationship with guys with SKSs because they're cheap. People show up with their crate of ammo and they start shooting everything they're not supposed to.
Well, they actually went out to the 5 stand and started shooting clay machines. Like, what? This is not. Does this look like a rifle range?
They take an old computer out. And they throw it on the ground. And they just start shelling it. It's
yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. I think. Is there any other common sense stuff we need to cover? Or I think that's pretty much got
it's
it.
a main topic. Maybe it's a main topic for a different day.
Common sense it should be common sense, but people don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Just like the writer said.
Yeah. Okay, so, don't think we have anything from Instagram. We don't have any Facebook reviews. If you would like to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, you can find us on Patreon. And if you have signed up to be a Patreon and haven't received your patches in the mail after a month, please send us an email with your address saying, "Hey, haven't gotten this stuff." And send a good reminder for Adriel's slave/kids. Shout outs. Start from the top. Adriel, you got any?
Youth workers is, I think, what I call them.
Youth.
It's more appropriate.
Just shout outs to Lethbridge for having us out there and setting us up so well. That was fantastic. Shout out to Steve for coming out there with me and helping me out with that event and making it a success. And I'll have more next week.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Okay, so I also want to give a shout out to all the IITs that helped out last weekend. Fantastic job, as I said earlier. Also to the Stittsville range. Without them, we wouldn't have had half as great of an event. It's a really good club. So if you're in the Ottawa area and looking for a public range that you can just go to, they're a range that you can do that. It's first class as well. And then finally, I want to say happy birthday, Josh V. He's one of our regular listeners. He's here in Kingston, and it's his birthday today. So I just wanted to give him a shout out because I know he's going to be listening tomorrow. Hi. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Happy birthday, Josh.
And that's it.
Okay. Mo?
I guess shout out to all the great people I met at the 2 matches on the weekend. It was a lot of fun. Match directors, the ROs, and just the shooters. That's it for me.
Okay. I got a couple. One, I dropped the ball last week. I thank the organizers at Battle Alberta, but I failed to thank all the sponsors who supported that match. However, they supported it, whether it was food, prizes, whatever way. So thank you to all the sponsors who sponsored the Battle of Alberta to help make that event even better. And then for this week, Cody and Tanner for being awesome squad mates and helping me laugh a little bit out in the stages. Lyle and Bill for the awesome targets they set up for the weekend. And everyone else involved with making the match happen, from food, registration, tallying the scores, everything. And then, of course, the sponsors who made the prize table happen, because the club wasn't spending any money. So it was all sponsored. So thank you to the sponsors to put prizes on the table so guys had something to go away with. And with that, we're going to sign off. So go check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Give us a like on Facebook. We're at basically 2,800 as of today. Give us a review on Facebook as well. Join the CCFR, and we'll see you next week.
See you, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Later,
Trevor.
Gators.